The secret to my biggest wins wasn't what I did, it was what I didn't do. And here's something most trading educators won't tell you. The harder you work at trading, the more likely you are to fail. Everything society taught you about success, hustle, and grinding, in trading, it's not just wrong, it's the fastest way to blow up your account. From the time we're kids, we learn one fundamental rule: hard work equals success. Need better grades? Study more. Want to build a business? Put in more hours. Want to master a skill? Practice relentlessly. This formula is hardwired into our DNA. It's proven by every success story we consume, every motivational podcast we listen to, and every self-help book we read. And here's the thing. In most areas of life, this formula actually works perfectly. It's a straightforward relationship. Put in more, get out more. So naturally, when people enter the world of trading, they bring this exact mindset. They're up before dawn studying pre-market movements. They analyze dozens of charts when they could focus on just a few. They study every indicator, every strategy, every pattern they can find. They increase their trading frequency, thinking more trades equals faster growth. They consume endless trading content online. They spend hours scrolling through financial Twitter searching for that next insight. And then, something unexpected happens. Their skills don't improve, they deteriorate. Their accounts don't grow, they shrink. And they're left sitting there completely confused, frustrated, and broke, wondering, where did I go wrong? I'm putting in more effort than I ever have. Why am I moving backwards? Here's why. Trading is the rare domain where the traditional input-output relationship doesn't just fail to work, it actively works against you. In trading, more effort often equals more interference. More activity frequently equals worse results. And this is the hardest lesson for driven, ambitious, hardworking people to learn. Why does hard work backfire? The overtrading trap. When you work hard in trading, what does that look like? Usually it means being more active, taking more trades, watching charts longer, and looking for more opportunities. But here's the problem. The markets don't care about your work ethic. They don't reward participation. They don't give points for effort. The market only pays you when you're right and execute at the right time. That's it. Taking 10 trades doesn't make you 10 times more likely to profit than taking one trade. In fact, if only 2 of those 10 setups are actually high probability opportunities, you've just added 8 opportunities to lose money. Think about that. By working harder and being more active, you've actually decreased your win rate and increased your exposure to losses. A surgeon doesn't become better by performing unnecessary surgeries. A sniper doesn't improve by taking low probability shots. And a trader doesn't profit by taking mediocre trades. But when you're conditioned to believe that effort equals results, sitting on your hands and waiting feels like you're not doing enough. It feels lazy. It feels wrong. So you keep trading. You keep working, and you keep losing. The analysis paralysis effect. Here's another way hard work destroys traders: over-analysis. You open your charts, and you see a potential setup. But you've been working hard, so you've learned about 50 different indicators and patterns. Now you're checking multiple moving averages, RSI on 3 different time frames, MACD histogram, support and resistance zones, volume profile, the news calendar, and social media sentiment. By the time you've analyzed all of this, one of 3 things happens. 1, the opportunity has passed. 2, you've talked yourself out of a good trade because one indicator disagreed. 3, you've convinced yourself to take a trade outside your system because you found enough confirming indicators. Bruce Lee said it best: "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." The trader who has mastered one simple strategy will outperform the trader who has surface-level knowledge of 50 strategies. But hard work culture tells us more is better. Study more, learn more, analyze more. And before you know it, you're paralyzed by information overload. Emotional exhaustion. Here's the third killer: emotional burnout. When you spend 12 hours a day staring at screens, watching every tick, analyzing every movement, your brain enters a constant state of high alert. Every candle triggers an emotional response. Every pullback creates anxiety. Every rally sparks FOMO. Every loss demands revenge. Your nervous system isn't designed for this level of sustained intensity. What happens? You start making decisions from a state of emotional depletion. Your discipline crumbles, your patience evaporates. You start forcing trades just to feel like you're doing something. A professional poker player doesn't play every hand just because they're at the table for 12 hours. They fold most hands and wait for premium situations. But the hardworking trader feels compelled to be constantly engaged, constantly active, constantly in the market. And this is exactly what destroys them. So, what does the market actually reward? If hard work in the traditional sense doesn't work in trading, what does? The answer is uncomfortable, because it requires us to redefine what work means. The market doesn't reward activity. It rewards three things: having a system, discipline, and patience. Let me break each one down. Having a system. The real work of trading isn't finding more strategies, it's developing one strategy and following it with religious consistency. This is boring work. It's not exciting. It doesn't feel productive in the way that watching charts all day feels productive. But here's what it looks like. You define exactly what setup you're looking for. Not 10 setups, just 1 or 2 setups that you can recognize immediately. You specify exact entry criteria. Not it looks good or it feels right, but objective, measurable criteria. You determine position sizing rules. Not I'll risk more when I'm confident, but a fixed formula that you follow every time. You establish exit rules, both for profits and losses. Not I'll figure it out when I'm in the trade. This work is unglamorous. It might take you a few weeks or even a month to nail down, but once you have it, you're done with this phase of work. Ironically, the hard work of trading, developing the system, is actually the easy part. The hard part is the next element: discipline and patience. This is where 95% of traders fail, not because they don't have a system, but because they don't follow it. Your system says wait for a specific setup, but you've been staring at charts for 3 hours and nothing has happened, so you take a trade that's close enough. Your system says risk 1% per trade, but you're confident about this one, so you risk 3%. Your system says cut losses at a specific level, but you just know the market will turn around, so you hold and hope. Here's the brutal truth. Following your system when it's boring, when it's frustrating, when it goes against your impulses, that's the real work of trading. And it doesn't feel like work. It feels like restraint. It feels like inaction. It feels like you're not doing enough. But this is exactly what the market rewards. The discipline to do nothing when your system doesn't give a signal is worth more than any technical analysis skill. The discipline to take a loss according to your plan is more valuable than any chart pattern knowledge. This is psychological work, not analytical work, and it's much, much harder than staring at charts. Warren Buffett once said, "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient." In trading, this is even more true. Think about a professional hunter. They don't run around the forest shooting at every rustling bush. They find a good position, they wait, they observe, and they only take the shot when the opportunity is clear. The best traders I know take very few trades. Some of the most successful traders I've studied take fewer than 5 trades per week. Some take fewer than 5 trades per month. But when they trade size. They trade with confidence because they've waited for their exact setup.
This waiting is work. It's the hardest work there is, because your brain is screaming at you, do something, you're wasting time, you're being lazy, other traders are out there making money. But sitting, waiting, doing nothing until the perfect moment, that's the work that compounds wealth in trading. The invisible work. Now, I need to clarify something important. When I say hard work doesn't matter in trading, I don't mean you can be lazy and succeed. There is hard work that matters in trading, but it's invisible, internal work that most people never do because it doesn't feel like real work. Let me show you what this looks like. The work of self-awareness. Most traders spend hundreds of hours learning technical analysis, and maybe 30 minutes understanding their own psychology. This is backwards. The real work is understanding. What triggers your emotional trading? Which market conditions make you deviate from your plan? What time of day do you make your worst decisions? How does your ego affect your position sizing? What childhood beliefs about money sabotage your trading? This requires brutal honesty. It requires journaling. It requires therapy-level introspection. Nobody wants to do this work. It's uncomfortable. It's not fun. You can't show it off on Twitter. But this is the work that transforms traders. I've seen traders with mediocre technical skills become consistently profitable once they understood their psychological triggers. And I've seen traders with brilliant analytical minds blow up repeatedly because they never did this internal work. The paradox of effort. Let me share something that took me years to understand. Trading is an art of subtraction, not addition. In most pursuits, success comes from adding. Add more practice, add more knowledge, add more effort, add more hours. In trading, however, success often comes from subtracting. Remove unnecessary indicators. Remove emotional reactions. Remove excessive trading. Remove ego from decisions. The work of trading is often about stopping yourself from doing things, not pushing yourself to do more. This is why trading feels so wrong to hardworking people. Every instinct says do more, but success requires doing less. Think about it this way. Imagine a calm lake that perfectly reflects the sky. That's a trader with a clear mind following their system. Now imagine someone frantically stirring the water, trying to make it more productive, more active, more engaged. The more they stir, the more distorted the reflection becomes. That's what hard work looks like in trading. It distorts your clarity. The goal isn't to stir the water more vigorously. The goal is to become so still that you see clearly. Why the best traders look lazy? If you watched successful traders throughout their day, you'd think they barely work. They might check their charts for 20 minutes in the morning, place 1 or 2 orders, then close their laptops and go live their lives. To the outside observer, they look lazy, uncommitted, or not serious. Meanwhile, the struggling trader is glued to the screen for 12 hours, taking multiple trades, constantly adjusting, and always active, clearly working hard. So which do you think is more profitable? The paradox is that trading rewards the behavior that looks lazy to outsiders, but is actually the highest form of discipline. It takes tremendous strength to sit on your hands when your system doesn't give a signal. It takes incredible discipline to take only your setup when your brain is screaming for action. It takes profound wisdom to walk away from your charts when your emotions are elevated. This doesn't look like hard work, but it's the hardest work there is. Redefining your work ethic. So if you are someone who has always succeeded through effort and dedication, how do you adapt to training? You need to redefine what work means. From output to process. In most jobs, you measure success by output. More sales, more products, more results. In trading, you need to measure yourself by process, not output. Did you follow your system? That's a win, even if the trade lost money. Did you maintain emotional control? That's a win, even if you missed an opportunity. Did you wait for your setup instead of forcing trades? That's a win, even if you made no money today. This requires a complete mindset shift. You are no longer working for immediate results. You're working for long-term consistency. The market will give you results when it's ready. Your job is to show up with perfect process over and over, regardless of outcome. From constant action to strategic patience. You need to reframe patience as your highest skill. Every moment you successfully resist the urge to trade outside your system, you're compounding your future success. Every day you do nothing because your setup didn't appear, you're getting better at trading. This is active work. You're actively choosing discipline over impulse. You're actively maintaining emotional control. You're actively following your system. It doesn't feel active because you're not clicking buttons, but this is the work that matters. From learning everything to mastering one thing. Stop trying to know everything about trading. Start trying to know everything about your one trading system. One setup executed with complete mastery will make you more money than surface-level knowledge of 50 setups. The work isn't accumulating more knowledge. The work is deepening your mastery of what you already know. This means trade the same setup 100 times and learn its nuances. Study how it behaves in different market conditions. Understand its failure modes. Recognize it instantly without thinking. This is deep work. It's harder than jumping from strategy to strategy, but it's what creates true expertise. The critical mental shift. The hardest part of this approach is the mental shift required. You've been taught your entire life that if you're not struggling, you're not improving, that comfort equals stagnation. But in trading, struggle often means you're doing it wrong. The goal is to make trading boring, systematic, and unemotional. When trading feels exciting, you're probably overtrading or risking too much. When trading feels like work, you're probably forcing it. When trading feels like simply executing a checklist, showing up with discipline, and waiting patiently, that's when you're doing it right. This feels wrong to high achievers. It feels like you're not giving it your all. But here's the reframe. You are giving it your all. You are giving it your best emotional control, your best discipline, your best patience.
These are harder to give than hours and effort. Trust the process over the timeline. Another mental shift. Stop measuring success by speed. In most pursuits, faster is better. Learn faster, achieve faster, succeed faster. In trading, faster usually means blowing up faster. The trader who takes 2 years to become consistently profitable with a slow, methodical, disciplined approach will likely outlast 20 traders who try to speed-run success through grinding and overtrading. The market rewards patience twice: patience in waiting for setups and patience in developing as a trader. The final truth. So let's come back to where we started. Hard work gets you nowhere in trading. Now you understand what this really means. It's not that effort doesn't matter, it's that the wrong kind of effort destroys traders, while the right kind of effort is invisible to people who judge success by activity levels. The wrong effort: overtrading to feel productive, overanalyzing to feel smart, screen watching to feel engaged, constantly searching for new strategies, trading outside your system because you're working hard. The right effort: building a system and following it religiously, developing emotional awareness and control, cultivating patience as your superpower, journaling and reviewing for continuous improvement, maintaining your mental and physical health. The market doesn't care how many hours you put in. It cares about the quality of your decisions in the moments that matter. You could trade for 30 minutes a day with complete discipline and make more money than someone trading for 12 hours with none. This is the counterintuitive truth of trading. Success doesn't come from doing more, it comes from doing the right things consistently, even when it feels like you're not doing enough. If you've been grinding harder and harder while your results get worse, this is your wake-up call. You don't need to work harder, you need to work differently. You need to stop interfering with your own success through excessive effort. You need to trust that patience, discipline, and clarity will compound over time. And most importantly, you need to redefine what work means in the context of trading.